What is up, everybody? Welcome back. It's been a couple days, I know, but I'm back. I got a guest with me today, and we got something interesting to talk about while we're fishing. Fishing's been okay this morning. Not a keeper yet, but we've had quite a few shorts. We've had some action. We just have not. We have a good screen. We've caught a lot of shorts. They've all been shorts. So far, we're throwing around shiver minnows, and that's what's been working for us. Darcy, why don't you say hello and introduce yourself, and then we'll talk for a second about the fishing, and then we'll get into the bigger thing. But you were fishing. You started out with a blade this morning.
I started out with a blade.
Actually, you started out with Homie, the blade.
It did not work.
It did not work.
It did not work.
Shockingly, for an overcast morning like this too, usually that black and gold is just a great color combination. But everything we've hit on today,
Purple. Purple is the color of the day.
purple. I've got JJ McPuffin stuffing loving on, and Darcy's been throwing the purple clown with a red nose. We're in a deeper flat. We're in 23 to 27 feet off the edge of a shallower flat. Let's see if this is another little guy. I've had about 3 walleyes this morning that were maybe 4 inches long. Here comes another one.
Epic.
Yep.
Epic.
Yep. He's barely bigger than the lure. Barely bigger.
It's all right, though. They're hungry.
Yeah.
That's all that matters.
So, we'll get into it here. Darcy, why don't you introduce yourself to everybody?
Hello. Hello.
Hello there.
Hello. Just so we know, you're in for a show today. I think Matt has figured out this might be an anything goes conversation. You may laugh, you may cry, you may do everything in between. Oh, lost it. See, I was good. I didn't drop an F-bomb because that's not allowed on YouTube. So,
Right.
I am Darcy Simmons. I am a licensed clinical therapist. I do have to put out the little promo. I am a therapist, but I'm not your therapist. I'm here today to strike up some conversation around an episode that was posted last week by Matt. And for those of you who don't know, I am part of the fishing community here on Oneida Lake. My significant other and I fish here every weekend, and we're also up in Ontario. So you may know some of me maybe from postings or seeing us out and about.
She's also a former Walleye Fest champion in the perch category, so that'll give you some of her fishing pedigree.
Would I take this year? Third?
Yeah.
Second, third?
Oh.
That's a good one. That might have some. That might have some weight. Perfect timing.
Yeah, right?
Perfect.
What do we got here? Nah, he's broadside.
Never mind.
Yeah. Although this is the biggest one of the day, I can tell you that much.
It is.
You want to switch sides with me? Why don't you switch so you're closer to the camera?
So yes, funny story. Walleye Fest, I do well with the perch category. I don't fish for perch. But it's fine. It works out fine. And you know what? We take our wins where we can find them. Try new things. Be adventurous. It's a theme.
Yeah, right?
It is a
Get
theme.
outside your comfort zone. Yep.
Don't sit and be like, oh, it's a perch, and start shaking it off, because it might win you some money in a fishing pole. You never know what's going to happen. Oh, well. So, anyways, our topic of conversation today, fishing. Of course, fishing. I am incredibly lucky that I was able to get the morning off today and come do this, because I never get out here usually during the week unless it's very planned. September is Suicide Awareness Month, and connecting that in with mental health in general in realizing one of the things that Matt talked about last week that really kind of hit the chord for me to reach out to him was, what is it that keeps us, in general, from reaching out to natural supports and asking for help, reaching out to medical professionals and asking for help, how to be helpful and supportive, because he hit the nail on the head. He had said, men don't talk about their feelings, men don't seek mental health treatment. And then when we add in some other things into the equation, it makes it even harder. Some fun little facts. When we look at, do we have one?
Yep.
Well, this is a way to be undepressed, catch fish.
Yeah, right? I've never seen anybody unhappy while reeling in a fish in all my years. You're okay. Keep right on going.
Maybe that's a sign or a symptom. Unhappy catching a fish.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But thank goodness for editing. If we look at statistics, and again, statistics are going to be a little bit skewed because what do we know? Roughly 30% of all mental health is not reported. So 30% of the population is experiencing some sort of mental health, anxiety, depression, grief, trauma, whatever it may be.
That they don't say anything to anybody about.
They don't say anything to anybody about. From that, when we look at depression in general, women are about 25% likely to report depression. Men is 6.4%, which is a huge difference. And I'm here to maybe change your minds about that. Maybe. We'll see what happens.
And I'm assuming, I can speak for myself, but I'm assuming that first step is by far the hardest step.
110%.
I mean,
admitting.
Right. Admitting that we, and again, this is for everybody. I know we have men and women that watch this. Predominantly it's guys. I'm a guy, so I always speak to other guys. But Darcy reached out to me and said, hey, I think maybe we should do something and just have an open conversation. And
get it out there.
You're right.
Get it out there,
yeah.
Right? And it may not even be yourself. One of the things Matt and I were talking about this morning is it may not even be yourself that may be experiencing something. It may be your partner, significant other. It may be your kid. It could be your neighbor. It could be one of your good friends.
Yeah, your
right?
fishing buddy.
It could be your fishing buddy.
Yeah.
Because so many people have come to be accustomed of, oh, so-and-so always has a smile on their face. They're the life of the party. And we expect that out of them all of the time. And they may have a bad day and they're not going to reach out because when they do, they know they're supposed to be the life of the party and they're supposed to be the one cheering everybody up. And maybe they've gotten responses instead of, hey, what's going on? You're not acting like yourself. The response is instead, what's wrong with you? Snap out of it. We're supposed to have a good time today. I'm the one with the problems, not you.
Right.
You're here for me. And being able to recognize when is an okay time. How do we reach out? Because certainly the thing is not to say is snap out of it and get over it. It's the last thing somebody wants to say, and unfortunately, it's probably the most said thing.
As if there's an imaginary switch that you can just flick back and forth.
If you find that, copyright it.
Yeah.
You are going to be set for life.
Yeah.
Buy whatever boat you want.
Yeah.
You're going to be good. If you find that answer, you let me know. And so, what do we look for? What do we look for? How do we know somebody may not be doing well?
In ourselves as well. Like, how do we recognize...
Nice for ourselves. Something might be changing. Because guess what? I'm tired. I'm sleeping more. I just feel tired. Maybe I'm getting sick. Maybe I'm coming down with something. Right? Or the opposite. I all of a sudden can't sleep at all. I'm used to sleeping a good 6, 8, 9 hours a day, and now all of a sudden I'm only sleeping 3 or 4 hours. I feel like garbage all day long. I've slept 15 hours and I can barely get out of bed. All right. So what are the big changes? Sleep, change in sleep, change in appetite. Depression is different for everybody, and it works in very wonky ways. Same thing with stress. Right? Some people lose their appetite completely, and nothing looks good. I've had some patients who will say they'll even be like watching TV or scrolling social media, and even the picture of food or an image of food makes them nauseous. Then there's the opposite, where people are eating a lot. What we eat changes, and I am a huge component. What we eat is how we feel. Right?
Amen to that.
What do most people who don't feel well go for? Carbs and sugar. Guess what is going to make you feel like garbage? Carbs and sugar.
And I recently read something that the most overtaken, most abused antidepressant in the world is food. And typically in that food category is sugar at the very top, because of what it does to your brain chemistry, and it gives you that short-term up, but then it just crashes out from underneath you.
Yep. Yeah, food. We are what we eat. We are also what we do. And so when we stop doing things that are part of our norm, that are part of our everyday being, that I'm going to say hopefully we enjoy, that make us happy, but they can be the things. We're adults. We have responsibilities, and adulting is hard, and sometimes adulting sucks, and we got to do stuff we don't want to do. We start calling into work more often and not going to work. It may get to a point we lose our jobs because we're not going to work. We start giving up our hobbies and not even wanting to go, even if we have people around us who will be like, hey, let's go out on the boat this weekend. Hey, let's take that drive up to the Adirondacks. Hey, let's go on that vacation. Right? I will always tell people those are the moments that you say yes, even when you feel like you want to say no. Because doing those things is healthy. It's good for our brain. Our brain will always remember our connections to things that are healthy and happy. And so there's that saying, sometimes you got to fake it to make it. You sometimes have to fake it to make it. The first 4 trips on the boat may feel meaningless and be like, why am I doing this? But then that 5th trip, the brain's going to be like, oh, we're here. And this is great. And you're going to be like, why did I stop doing this? Right? Because now I've done it. And it's back to where it used to be. So we are what we eat. We are what we do. We are who we are with. And so the other piece with depression, we isolate. Most people will isolate. Men will tend to isolate a little bit more than women. And in who we surround ourselves with, right? We surround ourselves with negative, toxic. I don't usually like the word toxic, but it's a fitting word. Negative, toxic people, we are going to feel negative and toxic. We surround ourselves with like-minded, positive people, upbeat people. We are going to start feeling upbeat and positive as well. If we are in a group that is very motivated, we ourselves are going to start to feel very motivated. And so taking all those things into consideration, I think those are the easiest things for anybody to be able to recognize. Eating, sleeping, our social networks, and our hobbies. If they start to change, and if they start to change together, that's probably the first big red flag.
Self-medicating.
Self-medicating. Yes. And it can be, right? People hear the term self-medicating. I'm going to go find an actual medication. It could be. But can also be alcohol,
Recreational drugs.
Recreational drugs for men.
Food.
Food. For men, more so than women, men will tend to drink more in a depressive state than women.
And alcohol is a depressant. So you're pouring fuel on a fire that's alive.
And already burning.
Yeah. And it's alcohol's alive, and we succumb to it often, thinking it will make things go away, which it does temporarily. But it never goes away. And it always comes back with a vengeance.
Worse.
Yep.
Self-harming is a self-medicative. And a lot of people will sit and say, well, self-harming is more prevalent in teenagers, or it's more prevalent in women.
But
it spans. And self-harm doesn't necessarily always mean what the general population believes it to mean. A lot of people think self-harm is like I'm balled up in a bathroom, like cutting my arms and slitting my wrists. No, self-harm is anything that is going to be disruptive to your overall well-being. Road rage, intentional road rage, is self-harm. If you are not somebody who typically has road rage and all of a sudden you're like, screw this, I'm getting in my car and I'm just going to go tear up the town, that is self-harm.
Self-harm, that voice in your head, that negative voice that wants
Just
to keep you here. You know, it doesn't want you to rise through things. It whether it's an ego, whether it's whatever the clinical term is, self-harm can take a lot of different faces and avenues.
Yep.
You know, and we haven't even talked about online or the internet. We haven't even talked about
social media,
the perils that lie in that, good, bad, and indifferent for people.
Social media can be a blessing and it can be a curse, right? And what you find on the internet versus, the internet is helpful when it's helpful. And
like anything.
Yeah, right? I tell people all the time, I work with mainly teenagers and then up through adults, but you have a headache and you go and Google your headache with, the pain in your right pinky finger, and we go down a rabbit hole and we continue to just then tell ourselves we have cancer. And we're not going to go to the doctor for our headache and our pain in our right pinky finger because we're not going to find out that we might actually have cancer. And we lead ourselves down this path of gloom and doom and the worst case scenario. And it's human nature. We all do it. I'll admit it. We all Google things, right? And I think it can be worse when we talk about mental health. There are some really, really great sources out there for mental health support, but there are also a lot of sources that scare people and make people afraid to go get help, because we become afraid of, well, what happens if I'm actually having that voice in my head that's telling me I'm a piece of shit and I shouldn't get out of bed every day. And now that voice is like, nobody's going to care if I'm not here tomorrow. Nobody's going to care if I'm gone next year. Nobody's going to care if I don't show up. Well, I'm not going to go and put that on a sheet of paper because now that's going to be in my medical record forever. And if I admit that to anybody, well, I've read on the internet, they're going to send me to a hospital, they're going to lock me in a room and throw away the key. And why am I going to do that to myself? And the reality is, that's not the reality, right? And that is probably one of the biggest things that keeps us from being able to talk about these things because we're so afraid of what might actually happen, instead of hearing the stories and the experiences that things can get better, right?
And allowing yourself to make everything up in your head without actual facts leads down that slippery slope, and I'll say to you guys, and I it's funny, I have no problem with it, but on the same hand, I've struggled with it all my life, I guess, with depressional issues. But listening to you just now go through all of these symptoms that change, I'm shaking my head thinking, God, I'm checking every single box that she said. I mean, my sleep pattern changed instantly, and I didn't understand at first why. For years, I've been up at the ass crack of dawn because I couldn't sleep anyway. Now all of a sudden this summer, I can't get out of bed. I don't want to get up and go fishing. I just want to be curled up in bed. I don't feel better there, but I feel less bad than if I went and did something else. Eating habits, all of that stuff. I had chills. You're sitting here talking about it. I'm like, holy shit, I'm depressed, But and so we talked about some of the symptoms and some of the things that you can see in yourself or in others. Let's real quick talk about
What do you do?
how do you, yeah, like,
What do you do?
Like what are your first steps to do something for yourself? Even if that doesn't mean going and getting help right away, like, give us your best 3 things to do.
So I will always tell people and remind people. So if we want to take that instance, I can't even get out of bed. Get yourself out of bed and take a shower. There's this interesting study that compared individuals with anxiety and depression and individuals with substance abuse. And it was put out I'm going to date myself, around 2010-ish. So it's dated, but it still holds true. Individuals with substance abuse would still take care of their hygiene. We call them your activities of daily living. They would take care of their hygiene and their activities of daily living at a much higher percentage than individuals with anxiety and depression. Right? There is a connection. Individuals who have had chronic depression for multiple years typically have really bad dental issues because the depression takes over and you're not going to get up and go brush your teeth. It is the last thing that is on your mind.
That's crazy.
Individuals with depression tend to have higher rates of GERD and GI issues because, right, going back to we eat garbage when we're depressed. So, yeah, I'm untangling myself. So I will always tell people, get up out of bed, take a shower, put on clean clothes, and if you want the term now, the cool term is bed rot. If you want to bed rot outside of your bed and go, I caught the appetizer just now.
Soup starter.
At least I hit bottom. At least we knew we were there. Figuratively and literally. So you get up, take a shower, put on clean clothes. Don't go back to bed rot in bed. Bed rot on the couch. At least put yourself in a different environment in your house. Change the picture, change the view. Start there, right? Find those moments. You know what? Even if I have to DoorDash, can I DoorDash myself that might have a vegetable and a protein in it versus going and raiding my pantry? Can I get a good meal? One good meal into myself. And the third big one, welcome to upstate New York. I do not care what type of the year or what kind. Whoa, edit that part out. What part of the year it is, get outside. Because believe it or not, even on a day like today where it is overcast, the sun is still shining, your body is still absorbing vitamins and nutrients that it needs from being outside. The beautiful thing, if you are watching this and you're like Matt, being like, oh, the check boxes are going off in my head. Fishing is probably one of the best things you could go out and do for yourself, right? And I was telling him when we were coming out, there is so much choice and control in the world of fishing, right? Yep. If you have a boat, you have the control of who you are inviting onto your boat. You have the control of going on your boat. You are outside in the sunlight. Most people are chatting on a boat or there's music playing on a boat, right? You have all of these things around you. It's a beautiful thing.
You just mentioned the word control twice.
Yeah.
There's there, and we haven't talked about this prior. Is there a connection there with people feeling like they have
Absolutely.
regaining some sort of control over their life that they feel they've lost because of this depressive state?
Yeah. Because when you're, most, right? It's not going to be all, but most people feel like in a deep chronic depression that there is no control. The depression has taken over, right? The wirings of your brain has taken over to make you believe, and the keyword make you believe, that there is no way out, that nothing is going to change, right? And a lot of people will say, I can't fix it, I have no control. And it's probably the biggest lie we have that we can tell ourselves, because you actually have all the control, you have all the power.
And we talk about this being Suicide Awareness Month. I imagine that slippery slope is quite slippery when you feel like you've lost control and you have no way out, and then all of a sudden something says, here's your way out.
Yep.
And
Here's the control.
Something's lying to you in your own head that says that, because you're supposed to not be able to hurt yourself. Like the brain is supposed to be wired so it doesn't allow that to happen. I can't sit here and bite my finger off. I mean, I guess you could,
if you wanted to.
But I mean, right? I mean, it's supposed to be. That's not supposed to be able to happen.
Right. And so, anxiety is tied into depression. And I will say, again, it's going to differ for everybody. And this is really more of an opinion. The hardest symptom of depression is that negative voice, that negative thinking, because it is usually what is connected and leads to suicidal thoughts. And that is probably the hardest thing that people want to admit to, again, because of fear. What's going to happen if I talk to somebody about this? What's it going to do? And we forget to realize that our thoughts are just thoughts. A thought isn't the reality. A thought isn't the truth. And I may take some slack for this, but I often tell folks who are like, I've had this thought, for years, that I don't belong here, that I'm going to die. It almost has become so normal to them that they miss out on the fact that, well, even despite that, you've survived all of these years with it.
And you are here.
And you are here. And you are now talking about it and being able to realize, right? It's like being out on your boat fishing. It's a sunny day and all of a sudden it rains for 5 minutes and then it's sunny again. What are you most likely remembering about your day? It was a great sunny day. You're not going to remember 10 years from now that it rained and it stormed for 5 minutes while you were out on the boat.
And nor would you allow that storm to briefly roll through and make you never want to go on your boat again.
Exactly. Exactly.
That's and we don't want to go too long. Like we're at a half an hour right now, and we're gonna, for people's attention span, but don't prejudge your own circumstance, and
Exactly.
and don't judge your circumstance against somebody else's, because what makes me upset might not affect somebody else, and vice versa. But that doesn't mean that what is making me upset is less than or not valid or not real to me, to you, to whoever, and we don't know what people are going through, but they don't know what we're going through either. And you can't say, oh well, I should just get over this, it's not, knock it off, like you just said. Someone telling you to just get over it,
Not helpful.
no different than saying it in your own head.
Yeah.
Stop it, just get over it, whatever, because it's not.
And unfortunately,
It's not allowing it to be real.
And as soon as you say that, you've decreased your chances of that person ever probably reaching out for help again in the future. right? So validation and being able to understand also the difference between empathy, which is just understanding, versus sympathy. So not telling people, oh, I've been in your shoes. Oh, I know exactly how you're feeling. That's sympathy. People don't want sympathy because it's not validating, right? You haven't been in the shoes. You're not here in their exact experience in the present moment.
And
So
sunfish.
So being able to say instead, look at
Let's
it's
get a little.
pretty,
Let's get a little sunshine in your life.
look how pretty that is.
They're gorgeous.
I love them. So instead, being able to focus on what do you need right now? What do you need right now in this present moment? Not what do you need next week. What do you need right now is the most helpful thing anybody can do. And when we can take care of right now, then we can think about tomorrow. How might I be able to be helpful for you tomorrow? What are the resources that are out there? Is it helpful to be able to talk to somebody? There is a local hotline that is available through Contact Community Services that you can call and text. They are trained volunteers that are here in the local community, and I always say that's super important because.
And I'll get that information from you. I'll put it in the
Right
description.
here.
Yep. I'll put it down below in the link.
So I always tell people what's beautiful is these are individuals who are living in your community. So if there's stuff going on in the greater Syracuse area, they're already going to be aware of it, which I think can be super helpful. And also if people are going to sit and you're going to talk about like local landmarks or things that have happened, that can be super helpful. And then of course 988 is the national suicide hotline. You can text and or call 988. It is completely anonymous, and I put those out there, right? The stigma is if I call, the cops or the ambulance is going to show up in front of my house. No. It is an anonymous person who can sit there to be able to just listen. That is their job, to just listen. You can talk to them for 45 minutes if you wanted to, right? They have connections to other services and providers in your area. The other thing I always tell people, please, if you have a connection with a primary care therapist, and hopefully you like your primary care doctor. If you don't, please get a different one. You should like your primary care doctor, is to start there. Start with them. They're all trained to be able to say, hey, these are the things that I've noticed. These are the things that are going on. What can I do? What are some options for me? It is not always medication. It may not always be therapy, right? But helping you start to see that you have some options, and here comes the control. You can pick and choose what is going to be best for you. Because at the end of the day, you know yourself the best. Right? We all know ourselves the best.
Yeah. I think that's a beautiful place to end. And Darcy, I can't thank you enough for reaching out to me, for wanting to come do this, for wanting to have a conversation. For anybody that this is reaching today, if you need to hear this message, it's finding you for a reason. We hope that you take that step and you try to get better. Because that's really what we're all doing here. We're trying to get better. There's no handbook for life, and divorce, death, all these things, these external forces that come piling on us.
The world.
What's going on in the world, the angst, the turmoil, none of that stuff's ever going to go away. How we deal with it, though, is the most beautiful thing you can do for yourself. And everything I've said and everything I've listened to today has been as much a message for me as it's been for you. And I can't thank you enough, honestly.
We'll come back.
Yeah.
We'll do an annual tribute.
Absolutely, we'll do this. And in the comments, you wanna see this kind of thing again. You want to hear us talking about these things. It resonates with you. You can make a comment publicly. You can always DM me privately. I'll have those numbers that you talked about in the description today. I'll get this edited this morning, and we'll get it out to everybody because it's
important.
It's critically important. If you're not good I always like to use the analogy of when you're on an airplane and the stewardess gives you the talk and says, when that, if we're going to crash or whatever, and your oxygen mask drops down from overhead, put yours on first. Then you can go and help your neighbor. But if you help your neighbor first and they're hurt and you're not, and you die because you don't have oxygen, now you help nobody, including yourself. And sometimes that's hard for people that want to be selfless, or that's their nature, and they give and give and give. You don't take care of this, you got nothing left to give. And that's where we're going to end. We caught some fish today. We had some fun.
At the end of the day, we're a community.
Yeah.
We are a community of, on Oneida Lake, we are a community of sports people, and we are all good people.
And honestly, we look out for each other.
We do. So
we really do.
We look out for each other in all sorts of different ways. I think this is another way we can help each other out.
Yeah.
So if that's even the thing you take away from this.
Thank you, everybody.
Keep your tip up.
Keep your tip up right there, baby. And we'll see you soon. Love you guys.